What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Idle Hardcore. This is Gen 2, Episode 78. We are continuing towards the Ancient Sanctuary and the Slayer area that precedes that to collect all the puzzle pieces, working to gear everything up. And once I get done with the gearing or the non-combat portion, I'll start jumping into combat, and I want to level up attack to 110. I think it's 110. Defense needs to be 110. Ranged is already over 110, so we're good there. And magic needs to get up to 110. That is because the gear that you can get from here, like this divine gear, this is 110 gear. So I need to be at 110 in order to equip it. Get back into this. And the same thing with rune crafting. The best stuff you get here is 110 gear. So I need to, once I get done transitioning, or once I get done with the non-combat stuff, I need to transition over to combat and get everything built up to 110, those skills in particular, so that I can start equipping things. So that's going to be a future goal, and probably in the next couple of weeks here, very, very quickly, we're coming up on that. So to get where I'm at today, I did a lot of wood cutting and a lot of crafting. Now, the problem is you spend a lot of time wood cutting, and you'll spend a day, you let it run all day and overnight. You'll come back the next day and you'll spend an hour or two on crafting. Like this crafting, this hardwood stuff, like these elder woods, these give you the best XP for it, but they cost 150 and they're slow to get, and it burns away real fast. So I spent some time with this, and I did that a few times, and I got it up to the carrion part, and I thought, cool, I built up a whole ton of carrion stuff. I've got 174,000 carrion logs. I've been growing them and farming, and then I totally forgot you have to have carrion bark, so I can't actually get this gear even produced, and it's a 110 gear, so I can't even do anything with this until I actually get into combat and start collecting this stuff. Now, I might be able to get this somewhere like thieving or something, but I'm not too worried about that right now. What I'm more concerned with is getting crafting built up. So I was doing the whole wood cutting and crafting thing. I spent a lot of time going back and forth that. I think in the last video, I wasn't at 120, and now I'm over 120. Like I've gone a long way into wood cutting. I've spent so much time doing it. I started feeling like I was wasting my time because I'm not leveling up my other skills. I'm just collecting stuff for this skill that burns through everything very quickly. So I sat there the other day and I started looking at this, and I thought, you know what? I could burn through, I don't know, some of these things here. These iridium bars and the palladium bars, I think these are very valuable for upgrading. So like the smithing stuff that you have to use for upgrades uses the iridium and palladium. The problem is these things cost a lot to make, and they're very slow to make compared to, and you need 5 of these for one amulet or whatever. So I was like, this isn't really the way I want to grow this either. And my mastery pool XP was very low in crafting. So I was trying to balance a few things together. Like I wanted to push forward on leveling, but I also wanted to get some mastery pool XP in so that once I hit 50%, because if you take it up to 95%, you just get extra rings and amulets, and I don't care about that. That's probably good for making money or something, but for my purposes, I'm working towards completion, so I want to get this stuff leveled up as much as possible so that I don't have to make some of these. And I'm putting my effort into the lower, or the stuff lower down on the list that's more expensive. These things, the carrion stuff that takes the carrion bark and all that. So I'm trying to get that stuff out of the way first. So I thought, you know what? I didn't care so much about gaining levels, but I sat down with gold diamond necklaces and made a whole bunch of these things. I had a ton of diamonds and I have a ton of gold bars, and I have decent item preservation and duplication. So I was making some money. I was building up my mastery pool. I think I gained a level or something off of this, but basically I wanted to keep pushing forward on crafting a little bit just to get it pushed forward. Then somewhere in there, because once you're like, if you're burning hardwood the armor stuff, you're not really making that much mastery because you need to let it run on mastery. You need to let it run for a long time to build the mastery up. And I could only let it run in like an hour or 2 spurts, and then it was done. So I did the gold diamond necklaces just to get back up to 50% mastery pool. And then anything extra I've been spending on the other stuff. I think I also made some bags, like they got these crafting bags that are artisan pouches and stuff like that. I made a little bit, maybe, yeah, that's what I made was the artisan bags because this is crafting interval and chance to double items. So I whipped up some of those. And then along the way, I went into summoning to build up, what do we got here? The crafting one. There's one for crafting in here. I needed some of those, and then I noticed that I didn't have any of these beaver ones yet for the fletching part. So I started making a bunch, and then I was out of the owls for astrology. Like I started making a whole bunch of summoning tablets. So I spent a lot of time with those. And another point in time, I looked at this and I had some herbs up. So I went in and we went into thieving for a little bit. So I made some fletching potions, crafting potions, gentle hands potions, because I was trying to work on all these different things. And what I went into thieving for was actually what's down here on this 116. This down here is the Madramante. And that thing gives you a crown. I think it doubles your tree production, which is what I was going for. But it's level 116 and I'm only at 110. So it's going to take a long time to get there. And I really didn't feel like rebuilding agility into a thieving build. What I focused on was going into the Explorer and getting the grappling hook out, the thieving shorts, so that I could build my success rate up a little bit. I don't think I got I didn't get the Adventurer one or the Treasure Hunter one. I think I worked on the Dark Knight for a little bit. And what I kind of tried doing was working on like the mastery pool side of things a little bit, keeping it up above 95%, but not wasting it. So I got up to here and then I saw that this one was going to be quite a chunk further down the road. And I thought, I don't really feel like messing with that. So that's when I started messing with fletching and I ended up unlocking the tablet for this. So I started working on fletching and this kind of led me down to onyx bolts. I was working on these for a while. So I have tons of onyx and tons of headless bolts from before. So I started working on this. And then when I unlocked meteorite bolts, that sparked where I'm at right now, which was earlier today. I thought, all right, I can do meteorite bolts. These are this onyx bolts are 608 XP. This is 900 XP. So these are really good XP. And I want to get up to where I can make these crossbows. So I need 115 out of that, which I believe, fletching to 115. That gets that crossbow, which that crossbow is probably going to be a 110 crossbow, I'm going to guess. If not, we'll go up a little bit further in levels. But point being, meteorite bolts are going to be really good, and these are going to come in handy. That's what I'm using on my standard account. So I went in and had to go mine up a bunch of them. So I got my mining leveled up to 118. That also gets me down to the cerulean gems, which is fantastic because now I can go mine those things out if I need to for crafting. So I've got that option open, and I let that go extra long. Like I had plenty meteorite, but it was, half or 3/4 of the way to 118. So I just let it run and I've got a little bit extra. So we're good there. You get a lot of good XP off of these things here, 405 there, 627 here. So compared to the 169 and 146 from like the regular ores. So that got me to smithing, which is where I'm at now. And that's basically what I've got going on. So I am going to work on fletching going forward. This is going to be my plan, is to work on more meteorite bolts. I ran out of meteorite bars, so I'm making bars right now, working on that. So I'm going to let this run overnight on meteorite bolts, see what level I end up at tomorrow. If I can get to, I probably won't get that far tonight, but if I can get to the 115, we'll be good. We'll be able to make everything in here. 118 is these other bolts, but I don't care about those bolts so much. So anything after 112, the 112s and 115s, I can't remember what they are, but they're going to take some exotic components, the Zephite and Decay. No, not Decay. What are these? 112 and 118. 112. Oh, yeah, the Decay bolts and the Zephite bolts. So these are kind of more exotic stuff that I don't really have the components for, especially the decay stuff. The Zephites I do, but I don't have that much quantity of. The Zephite's pretty rare. Um, yeah, I've only got 409, and I need to create some amulets and stuff like that with it. So I'm going to hang on to this stuff. In fact, I need to lock that and lock that before I lose it and forget about it. So that's where we are. That is what's going on at the moment. I'm going to work on getting my fletching leveled up. What I was trying to do is kind of end around to where I can get into combat a little bit sooner. The rune crafting is where I need it to be. I just need my magic leveled up. The smithing is where it needs to be. I just need to get my attack and defense leveled up. So we're getting really close to being in combat. And one of the things that I can get from combat, if I go to these Slayer areas, is the carrion bark. So I can let my melee guy run on the hungry plants, which I already have. I think I have clue 1, but I think all of these things, no, these don't. So yeah, all right, never mind. It's just those. I know the dungeon drops it. So if I click on the correct thing, if we go in here, the ancient chest, you can get 100 carrion bark. So once I let loose on the ancient sanctuary, we'll start really raking that in. And that is a melee dungeon, if memory serves. Been a while since I've ran that one. Yeah, I believe it's melee. So I would run that through all of these things for the melee side. And because these are not Slayer areas in the dungeon, I don't have to worry about all their effects. So that's what I'm working towards. I would need, let's see, I would need ranged for this, but I think I have enough gear to survive that. No big deal there. It's going to be, these I don't think are an issue either. I think I'm at the gear point now that I can go take on all of this. I just want to make sure that I am there with the 110 levels in the things that I need, and then we can blow through it. So mainly it's going to be working up the melee side of things, but we'll also need to do a little bit of the ranged and a little bit of magic to get there. And I'm really toying with the idea of going into alt magic and doing some things down here. I might need to get up a little bit further level because there's some cool stuff down here. Holy Invocation 3 is, I think there's a Holy Invocation 3. That's the one where you change the large urns over. That thing is great. Oh, interesting. I did not notice that there are level requirements for some of the Frost Spark and the Lightning Strike. Okay. So we're going to have to get some magic levels for that. Yeah, Holy Invocation 3. Those things let you make the large urns, and you can get your prayer points back very, very rapidly. So I want that unlocked also, because that's a really good source of prayer points. So that's where I am, and that's kind of my loose goal for the next week or so. Next week is Christmas night, I think. I think next week is Christmas night, and the week after that is New Year's. I plan on taking time off work, so I'll have plenty of time to devote to this. Maybe I'll get around to actually working on Township. One other thing I did consider was making a wood cutting factory out of my town so that I could just pull out all the trees and stuff that I need, because I believe that's cool. You can skip right over to it. I guess I can't click to it here. I believe you can trade to the wood that I need. So if I process this to where it was giving out maximum amount of, giving the max wood and getting out all that, going through the trader cycles 2 or 3 times a day, however many times it comes around, I might be able to feed that into crafting and get that easier with the elder woods and stuff like that. So anyway, that's where we are. That's where we're going. And I hope to be in the Ancient Sanctuary by the end of this week. So that will do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.